Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem Harakah double honor to the apostles and elders, great most in the world, and Shalom to all the brothers in the work concerning truth. Yeah, just kind of wanted to cover this situation you got going on. Well, kind of had it going on for a while between Russia and Ukraine. And the main part that's kind of been the hot topic is the border between Belarus and Poland, because like we've had it for a while. The guy, the president, I think it is. I'm not sure what, maybe prime minister or president, whichever one it is, of Belarus, is like a big ally of Putin. So they're more or less just seeing what he's doing as as being, machinations of Putin, because you've had him moving in on Ukraine, and it's just spreading their influence. So this is on Yahoo by way of Reuters. It says what NATO warns Russia over Ukraine military buildup. It says what NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg warned Russia on Monday that the Western military alliance was standing by Ukraine amid a large and unusual concentration of Russian troops on Ukraine's borders. And them had been massing there for a while, stressing the important thing now was to prevent situations from spiraling out of control. Stoltenberg urged Russia to be transparent about military activities to reduce tensions and prevent escalation. We have to be clear-eyed. We need to be realistic about the challenges we face and what we see as a significant large Russian military buildup, Stoltenberg told a news conference with Ukraine's foreign minister Dmytro Kuleba in Brussels. He said he did not want to speculate about Russia's intentions, but added, "We see an unusual concentration of troops, and we know that Russia has been willing to use these types of military capabilities before to conduct aggressive actions against Ukraine. The Russian troop movements have over the past few days spurred fears of a possible attack." Moscow has dismissed such suggestions as inflammatory and complained. Says what? Reuters what? Russia is not a threat, says Kremlin after media report about possible Ukraine. Yeah. This is what about and complained about increasing activity in the region by the NATO Transatlantic Alliance. Russia annexed Crimea from Ukraine in 2014 and says the waters around it belong to Moscow now, despite most countries continuing to recognize the peninsula as Ukrainian. Russian-backed separatists took control of Ukraine's eastern Donbass region that same year, and soldiers on both sides continue to be regularly killed in the conflict there. The troop border buildup, which Ukraine last week estimated at 100,000, was dangerous, said Stoltenberg, because it reduced the amount of warning time should Russia decide to conduct a military aggressive action against Ukraine. This is partly forces closer to the border between Russia and Ukraine, but it's also partly troops and capabilities which are inside Ukraine, meaning they are in Crimea, which is illegally annexed. And also we see the militants, the separatists in Donbass, which is also part of Ukraine, supported and helped by Russia, he said. Yeah, so it's NATO, it's Russia is is basically prepping for the inevitable, them doing further military expansion, and they're kind of just being like, yo, NATO, you man need to fuck off, because as far as we see it, um, like this is business for those involved, and that's really been the angle that Putin's been moving. Like that's how Putin's been moving. What's it say? A NATO source also asked to describe how Russia is going about deploying its military equipment towards Ukraine. No. A NATO source asked to describe how Russia is going about deploying its military equipment towards Ukraine said large equipment such as tanks, self-propelled artillery, and infantry fighting vehicles is moved at night to avoid telltale pictures shown up on social media as they did during the Russian military build-up in spring. It can go either way, Lithuania's Foreign Minister Gabrielis Landsbergis told reporters. Also on Monday, on the margins of a meeting with his European Union counterparts. So yes, these men are well, it's evident, and that's the thing is they already took Crimea, and this is really just a continuation, extension of just that spirit basically being put on the Russians to prep them for World War III, for Joel Chapter 3, because that's what we're in the midst of. We're basically seeing these things go down. We're seeing these maneuvers take place. That's why there's such a strong reaction. Same thing with China, because they linked up with China. China doing the same thing in Taiwan. This has all got the focus from everyone around the world, because they're basically seeing like, these guys are moving together. These guys are basically trying to make plays happen to bring an end to to the US, man, to the whole. So it says, what, Ezekiel 38:1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. Yeah, Gog and Magog, those Russians, man. And that's the thing. These guys are in prophecy heavy, because why? They're going to be doing a lot of work. It says, what, and say, thus saith the Most High Power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back, and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Yeah, so basically being put back into that military, that martial mindset. That's what's gonna that's what you're seeing, and that's something that's happened, because you had that period of time. That's the thing, all throughout the Cold War, well, let's say post World War II, Soviet Union, these guys were expanding power. It was basically Russia and America duking out for influence over the earth, and that's something that it declined, drew back for a season. So it slowed down for a season. But then what? Now the hooks have been put back in, because after it was really after the fall of the Soviet Union, they were done. But what? Through the process of time, and the spirit basically being put on them to fulfill prophecy, they've been building back up. And it's like really in 2010s, it's like they've been going wild. It's really under Putin as well. Spirit's been on that guy, because that guy has basically been in control more or less for over a decade, man. The guy's been going ham, and I think he changed like in the most recent what was it called, election. He changed the law so that he could continue to rule. Because why? He's had that raw spirit put on him, where it's like he's just like, fuck it, he'll do it, man. Man's ex KGB. Yeah, turning back. Isaiah 13:17. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Yeah, the Medes, man. Once again, the Medes being stirred up. It's talking about them Russians, man. Them guys basically having that spirit put on them. Right. Them guys having that spirit put on them. So they're, looking to completely, heartlessly, enact their, plans against Esau, against the West, man. This is what they will not regard silver, and as for gold, they'll not delight in it. The money's not going to keep them off business deals or whatever. It's going to be about, cold military interests. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces. They shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah? Well, it's going to go to a point where when they go to war, they're going to bring to bear all that military might, and they ain't gonna. There's not going to be any means to stave them off. Because why? It's going to be about that time. And that's the thing, as far as against the whore, everyone's going to turn against the whore, man. The Lord's going to have it happen where all the nations that currently allied, all the nations on earth, basically going to be like, yo, turn to America and be like, yo, fuck this place, and then shoot missiles on it. That's the scale it's gonna go up to, man. That's the grade it's gonna hit. Yeah. So it's gonna be peak. And that's the thing. You see this conflict stirring up immensely, man. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom. Yeah, Shalom.